We waived the Pledge of Allegiance due to the fact that this is not an in-person meeting. Roll call, Craig McSimiak.
Here.
Pam Kohlbacher.
Here.
Dennis Moore.
Here.
Brian Mulhern.
Here.
Joe Vlosek.
Here.
Dave Masick.
Here.
And Ken Blackburn.
Here.
We had no requests from the public to attend this meeting. And just be advised too, this meeting's in format being recorded and will end up hopefully being posted to our website in the future. We have no correspondence at this meeting also, but I would seek a motion and second for the adoption of the October 1st, 2020 minutes.
I'll make that motion. I will second. Craig will second. Dave made the motion.
Right, Dave made the motion and Craig seconded. Roll call, Craig McSimiak.
Yes.
Pam Kohlbacher.
Yes.
Dennis Moore.
Yes.
Brian Mulhern.
Yes.
Joe Vlosek.
Yes.
Dave Masick.
Yes.
And Ken Blackburn.
Yes.
Under legal report, I would request a motion for Resolution 20-11-29, a truth in taxation law resolution providing for estimate of taxes levied in accordance with Section 60 of the Truth in Taxation Law.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 20-1129 as described. Craig McSimiak will second.
Roll call, Craig McSimiak.
Yes.
Pam Kohlbacher.
Yes.
Dennis Moore.
Yes.
Brian Mulhern.
Yes.
Joe Vlosek.
Yes.
Dave Masick.
Yes.
And Ken Blackburn.
Yes.
The second issue in legal tonight would be a motion to renew the Square Links Golf Course Class D liquor license. I would need a motion and a second.
This is Dave. I'll make the motion to approve the renewal of the liquor license as described. This is Craig McSimiak. I will second that.
Roll call, Craig McSimiak.
So do you mind if I just ask some questions?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I didn't want to move along too quick. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I assume that we really have not had any problems over even the last 2 years, but especially in the last year in terms of any of that with the liquor license, right?
No, we've never had, to my knowledge, never had a problem with it. It tends to be the kind of environment where someone comes. We charge too much for the beer, so generally people don't over imbibe. It's more of a benefit, just a sideline to what we do there.
Perfect. Okay.
Any other discussion related to the liquor license? If not, I'd go for a roll call approval. Craig McSimiak.
Yes.
Pam Kohlbacher.
Yes.
Dennis Moore.
Yes.
Brian Mulhern.
Yes.
Joe Vlosek.
Yes.
Dave Masick.
Yes.
And Ken Blackburn.
Yes.
Treasurer's report, and just if anyone has any questions or issues related to anything on the agenda tonight, I don't want to fly through this with such a speed that you don't get the opportunity to request additional information or clarification. So feel free to chime in if you need anything like that. The fund balance treasurer's report is before you, and that would be accepted pending audit. And we are still in a really good financial position. We received the second to last distribution from Will County today of about $47,000, and year to date we're just under a fund balance of $2 million, which is a good financial position for the district. In terms of the accounts payable listing, I would need a motion and a second to approve the accounts payable listing before you.
This is Dave. I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable. This is Craig, and I will second.
Roll call, Craig McSimiak.
Yes.
Pam Kohlbacher.
Yes.
Dennis Moore.
Yes.
Brian Mulhern,
Yes.
Joe Vlosick,
Yes.
Dave Masick,
Yes.
and Ken Blackburn.
Yes.
We'll move forward to the executive director's report, and I'll combine that with committee reports to move on with that. Maintenance, we're slowing down. Staff are going into both finishing up the outdoor opportunities, putting things away, doing final repairs, and getting organized in terms of putting things to bed for the winter. We looked at, in December, to going with maintenance individuals 1 day from home a week and then 4 days at work. And then we're setting project agendas for them, either developing calendars or doing bid specifications that we've looked at doing for years. So there'll be a listing of those things that we can document accomplishments. And I think all of us have found when we're working from home, we're actually getting more done than when we did it at the office. It's just, you go to work earlier, you stay later because it's just more convenient that way, less distractions. Recreation is going to Tier 3. We had planned this all along. We had started by making program participants aware last week that that would be the direction if the governor moved on Tier 3, and then put all the things in place to kind of change this over with prepared blast emails and everything before the announcement actually came down. In terms of the dance program, they're going to 100% Zoom opportunity for all the existing dance classes to finish out the last, I think, 2 or 3 weeks of this program. All the participants are being offered either to be able to continue the program in a Zoom format, or to receive either a credit or a refund, depending on what they would like. So we'll see what they plan on doing. All the program instructors will be teaching out of Mary Drew in the studio, but it'll be a single individual with a staff member opening and closing the facility. We are trying to make plans to have other similar Zoom opportunities for comparable classes for art or other things, where we would drop off a package of supplies and then our instructor would be in her studio at Mary Drew instructing participants in what we're doing. So trying to make the best out of a bad situation. I've also, we're working with Robinson Engineering to finalize our overall park map, and we're setting up trailheads throughout the community on parking lots that would be at the head of a trail, say like at our community center, at Community Park, at Lighthouse Point, at Union Creek, where throughout the winter we would have a porta potty so that when people are walking and using the trails, we'll keep them as best we could 100% plowed and blown, and using a salt sand combination to keep them open and safe as much as we can throughout the winter. We hope to make a kind of a formal announcement of that moving on. We're also working on the much anticipated public survey and master plan. We hope to have either in late December or early January that go out to the community in terms of the introduction letter with the actual survey, so that things have dramatically changed in terms of the field, and we want to make sure that we're addressing that to the best of our abilities, providing services and facilities that they would like to see. So we're working on that. We're under IT, still a lot of remote work from home. The new web improvements are up and running. Let us know what you think of those improvements. You know, put them through their paces on any format, because they should work equally well on your phone, tablet, laptop, or CPU-based computer system. We also had a long call today with RecTrack, setting up the migration to the latest RecTrack software, which is, I think, 10 or 3.0 from 10.1 or something like that. This will happen over the next 6 or 7 months. We look for filing out on that around June 7th, but this will be downloaded to the park computers in December, and staff will be training on the new format. The adaptive playground has been completed in New Lenox, adjacent to the building. and they're going to all remote classes for special rec. Dave, do you have anything to add on LWSRA?
Just keep an eye out. You might see something from me or Facebook, but we've got our big day of giving. What is the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, which is December 1st. So we'll have some information out about that. A lot of charities do it. It's a very common thing. So we're just trying to find new ways to raise money in this non-interactive world.
Yeah.
Or physically interactive world, I should say. We are interacting. So, yeah, that new park is something else. I've seen it a little bit, but he was slowly opening it up, and they couldn't keep people off of it. And it was just so well received, well anticipated, and well done. So, nice feature for our communities.
Yep, and we donated to that construction too, and I think it was a couple $100,000 they put into that at least, wasn't it? It's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
It might be closer to $500,000, you know.
Yeah, I think between some grants and New Lenox Park District, because obviously that's New Lenox Park District property if I have my tax rights. So it's there's a lot of cooperative there, and Keith is just a fundraising machine, and hopefully I can team up with him and improve what we do over there too. But I wouldn't. I don't know a final number, but if it was $500,000, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and I know that they're also working on a giving tree for the 400 LWSRA participants, so that everyone has something under the tree for Christmas, and we'll try to help promoting that too. So all kinds of good work coming out of LWSRA.
Yep. Yeah, great organization.
Finance and planning, like I said, the budget still seems to be in really good shape. And with Linda working from home, I think she's got the first draft of next year's 2022 or 2021-2022 budget in place, as well as the levy that'll be coming before you at the meeting in December. And remember, too, we're doing at the levy at a greater than 105% to anticipate any new growth. In all likelihood, we won't receive Amazon money in the next budget, but it could be apportioned in the next budget, so we're preparing to make sure that we take advantage of that position. So more than likely, we're looking at the increase in the 22-23 fiscal year, with only an incremental change next year, but we don't want to miss any opportunity. That's why we've inflated the levy, or what I call the Dave Masick syndrome, to over 120%, because if you'll remember, that's how we met Dave. He came in questioning us on our blown up levy. And I'm going to write an article related to this, because we want people to know that even though we're over 120, 122% of what we would anticipate receiving over last year, that still only is done to take into account any new growth that's in the area. We have no physical ability to raise anybody's taxes by that level, but it is something that's unique to the district that we used to do. I think we did it for 20 plus years in a row until we stabilized our finances out here. Golf course is still doing exceptionally well, even better now, because any dollar that's made is not paid against any maintenance on the course. The maintenance has left, and it's standalone, other than I think we have 2 staff people and a part-time ranger that keep things blown down and up and running. So anything now is just benefit over what we've had before. I think they've really done a good job of balancing costs at the district, and even though it started off with a bad, April and May, numbers really turned around without the opportunity to, sell beverages and, open the restaurant up and do those kinds of things. They still had a really good year, as reflected in the fund balance compared year to date. Risk management, our annual December 9th meeting is going to be held remotely. And I would really look at some benefits from PDERMA in the future, in that we've dramatically changed our operation from manned maintenance to contracted maintenance, decreasing the liability on the district and, of course, the net savings for them in terms of less costly employees. Maintenance is always the highest factor when you determine liability insurance for the district and the potential of injury. And we basically went from 20 plus employees annually down to 3 with a couple of part-time guys. This will also be reflected in equipment savings over time too. So we're reviewing all those improvements this year and evaluating how best to move forward with that next year. We've had absolutely no FOIA requests, and I will not be requiring an executive session tonight, which would probably be problematic anyway, seeing the meetings being recorded, and I don't know how that would work. The next meeting of the Park District will be what is actually the second Thursday of December, or December 10th. That allows us to have the required time period between the adoption of the levy resolution, truth in taxation today, and the actual passage of the levy at the December meeting. That's earlier than usual. And then after that meeting, we won't meet again till our typical meeting, the end of January. But if everyone's okay with that, I would move to commissioners' comments and start off with Craig McSimiak.
Nothing from me.
Okay. Pam?
Just a question. I may have read it. I don't remember. You're planning on the December meeting to be a remote meeting as well, correct?
Correct. They're going to be remote. Hopefully, we'll see how things go. I know the December meeting will be remote. That's already been put out there. We'll evaluate the January meeting when it gets closer. Hopefully, we're going to head in a better direction by then.
Right.
Dennis, more?
Yes, I have a couple of things, Jim. One is I think we hired a new worker recently.
Yeah. Yep.
How's that working out?
Phenomenal. He's a wealth of knowledge. He comes, and I think I talked a little bit about it. Al, I don't know if I always pronounce his name right, Grybeck, or he worked in Tinley Park more than 20 years ago under Craig Rathke. And at the time, Craig Rathke was probably the best park superintendent in the south suburbs, really had the whole system dialed in. And from that, we got Ed Reedy, who worked in Tinley Park, Al, who ended up going to Romeoville and was the superintendent of parks there for, I think, 18 years. And then Veltman, who's now the superintendent in Tinley Park. But the advantage we have is that Al retired at 55 years old with IMRF. And so he lives in Tinley Park and was, he's 55 years old, not ready to, retire and just lounge. And so was looking for something in proximity and seeing that we aren't a member of IMRF and he can work for us without penalty to his pension. And so we were able to hire him basically at a laborer's salary, but he's tremendously qualified. I mean, he's a certified playground inspector. He's got spray license and applicators licenses. He's overseen projects. He's written bid specifications. So it looks to be a really strong, small, but really strong staff with tremendous resource. Now, I will tell you, I think after the first 2 weeks, after being in the office and not doing the manual end of it, which I think he enjoys, but may have had been a little sore for a bit, I think might be looking forward to some planning time this winter. But couldn't expect, or it's been great. I think that staff has done tremendously well with the amount of changes that they've gone through this summer, and I think it's reflected in the quality of the park maintenance throughout the district. Last year we had struggles with fertilization, with just basic grass cutting, with maintenance to the playgrounds, with maintenance to the ball diamonds, football fields, irrigation, and every one of those problems literally went away with the new approach. So not only did we save money, I think we actually did a lot better work. and Al will be a tremendous benefit for as long as he remains, so in a
That's good to
nutshell.
hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
great team. And the other thing is, and this is basically at the behest of my wife, because she's tired of looking at my Wildcat trophies. And I know Coach Mulhern has a whole plethora of Wildcat trophies hanging around, but has there ever been any consideration, and I know this kind of ties into what you'd asked in one of the emails about if we had any suggestions for any kind of planning, but is there anything ever been talked about as like housing these things, or putting them someplace so all the community could see them, and certainly we still have, I could even see FSBL adding trophies and plaques and that kind of stuff. I think it would be nice for the community to see that stuff in one spot.
Right now, the two big opportunities are at Mary Drew, where we have a lot of display of our dance program. And I know that the Wildcats cheerleaders had kind of taken over the trophy case outside the gymnasium there. Or the second option, I don't think we have a lot of room or aren't really prepared for it, or the volume of stuff, but we could think about the community center in terms of, it's kind of up to the board of where you would want to locate that. Would it be more appropriate in the community center where the groups meet, or would you rather see it at Lincoln Way or Mary Drew, where we have maybe more programming? I don't know.
I think that it could be overwhelming with the number of trophies if we got the word out and people, there might be some people who want to keep them still, but I think it's better for the community to do that. Kids coming back from college, they can go back and look at that stuff and that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas, but like in Tinley Park, for example, I think the Bulldogs, they have a field house kind of thing, and I know that they house all their stuff there, but just kind of thinking out loud, trying to get the stuff out of my crawl space and my garage.
Yeah.
You don't have a shrine?
and maybe we could.
He only has one or two. I don't know what he's worried about.
I knew that was coming.
Maybe we could include that as part of the survey when we do that in January and reflect it on community awards and stuff in a centralized location, the golf course might not be a bad place for that either. I mean, we have a lot of wall space there, and that might be a more appropriate place to, memorialize some of these things. And seeing that we kind of sponsor football and baseball and Boy Scouts and that kind of stuff. Boy Scouts have kind of been plaqued up at the Park District building as kind of a centralized related to Eagle Scouts and whatnot. But I'd be open to anything there, but maybe go directly to the organizations and see where they think it would be most appropriate, Yeah,
I was thinking too, the original Park District building over there by Champions Park too.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it has to be someplace that's pretty visible too. But
yeah, that's kind of why the golf course as a public facility would be kind of cool if we could remodel that with something like that. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will absolutely look into that. Anything else, Dennis?
I got just one more thing. I know I'm chatty catty.
Oh no,
today,
take up all night.
No, but
all night.
That's the difference when I'm here having a beer, but I'm not. Actually.
I make a motion to adjourn. Just kidding.
You're being recorded.
Oh yeah. Anyways, I'm not. Whoever's listening, I'm truly not. But anyways, the other thing was you had mentioned some issues with some of our dance people going to different dance concerts or different dance competitions and being treated differently or experiencing
I was talking about Paderma, and the concern we had was that we had dance competitions through Paderma were basically an excluded event. Okay, it was not something that they encouraged us to participate in at tier 3 or whatever tier we were at the present time. But our dance people came back and said, well, that's all well and good. You're part of PDERMA, but the park district that is part of PDERMA that is hosting the event is actually, offering the opportunity. And so how does that work? And basically what we got back from PDERMA was that, well, as much as we give guidance as to what would be the most appropriate way to provide programming or comply with the state standard, we don't prevent, if someone goes ahead and elects to offer an opportunity outside a recommended level, we can't prevent them from doing that, but we also wouldn't cover them if a liability arose from that event. So it was kind of disappointing to say that PDERMA wouldn't take a more active role and say, no, it's like the state guideline is dance competitions are not part of the current level and you shouldn't be providing it. They wouldn't do that. They just said, well, no, we won't cover the liability if something comes of it because we've prescribed that it shouldn't happen. Does that kind of make sense to you? It wasn't like anyone was mad at us. It was our girls were disappointed that they couldn't participate in because we were reading the letter of the law provided by our risk management company that says, no, you don't do dance competitions because you can't do them safely at the present time. So that's kind of what we were working through.
Yeah, thanks for the follow-up. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Yep. Brian.
I got nothing. I'm good. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope things are all good in your houses.
Joe?
No, since Mookie took up all the time, I don't have anything but same thing. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah. Dave?
One thing before I forget again, our next meeting, that's December 10th, which is the second Thursday.
Right.
What time is that?
7 o'clock is the public hearing. Then with the public hearing, we generally walk through our agenda if no one is in attendance, and then so that meeting goes relatively quickly.
So I've got a conflict there with my foundation meeting. So that's at 6:30. It's me leading the meeting, so the chances of me squeezing that in for a half hour are probably slim. Unless I'm sure we're going to have it. So I hopefully you don't need me to have a quorum.
No, I hope not either, because that's a deadline meeting because we're scheduled for the 10th because we need the time span between today and the 10th to have the appropriate amount of time to post the truth in taxation and then complete the levy at that time, so we don't have a lot of variables there, So yeah, I hope everybody can attend as best as possible, Yeah.
So anyway, so just a heads up there, and I'll know more if something changes on my end. I'll let you know.
Okay.
And I guess the only other thing you asked for earlier, I've tried to use the website on different devices, as you suggested, and it is better, and it's just overall better appearance. So I keep working on it. Try to go, phone, iPad, laptop, and it looks really nice.
Good. And I know that the splash page for the RecTrack software will also be adapted to the format. Right now, it's still the old format if you register for a program, but they are going to update that also.
Good. Yeah. So that's all I got. Yeah. Everybody else, happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully everybody's doing good.
Good. Ken?
I don't have anything. I would like to wish everybody, as everybody else is saying, happy Thanksgiving. And with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. I never get to do that.
Well, I'll second it.
Okay, Dave's got the motion and a second. And with an adjournment, I don't think we have to do a roll call for an adjournment. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And like everyone said, everybody have a great Thanksgiving and stay safe. And if anybody comes up with anything, don't hesitate to call. It's always good to hear from you guys. So if you hear anything from anyone that we should take into account, feel free to give me a shout anytime. All right.
Will do.
All right, good.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right,
You
everybody.
too.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye,
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Why do I think you're still there, Mookie?